In this video, I want to talk about luminous materials. Now, that sounds really cool, and it is very cool, because with luminous materials, we can make certain parts of our objects glow. We can make certain parts of our objects act as light sources in our scene. I have a little teapot in my scene, and I want the spout of my teapot, this little guy over here on the left, to serve as a light in my scene. I want it to glow. I want it to make it look like it's giving off light rays from the surface of my spout. So I'm going to make a material from it. I selected it, hit the M key. We're going to call this luminous, and we'll leave the color and all this other stuff at the defaults, okay? And I'm over here in my shader tree. Let's check it out. Now, my screen here, because I'm crunched up, is cutting off some stuff. So I have the material selected, and over here in our Properties tab, again, we have all these wonderful vertical tabs that give us access to specific channels for our material. What we want to do is go into Material Trans. Now, this is going to be, the luminosity is down at the very, very bottom. I need to pull my screen way up so I can see it. There it is, right there, right there. That's what we're going for. I want to jump back over into my preview window here, and we're going to make this a luminous material. And so this is a slider that we want to focus a lot of our attention on, but we can't touch it yet. We have to set up our scene in a very particular way. Because we're making the spout of this teapot a light source, in effect, we have to turn on a couple things. First and foremost, let's close this down. So we're going to come back to this. I want to turn the directional light in my scene just off. Boom. So now it makes sense. Everything goes black, okay? Because now there's no lighting going on in my scene. In order for luminous materials to work correctly, we have to go into the render settings and activate global illumination. Okay, let's just turn it on. And now now the environment is serving as a light source for our scene. Okay, so inside of our environment, let's just check it out right now. Where our environment material is transitioning from this kind of a dark gray at the bottom all the way to white at the top. Let's just do this. This is just for illustration purposes only. I'm going to do a constant color, and I want to make that constant color, maybe pretty dark, maybe a very, very dark gray. Okay, so now we just have almost, let's make it black. Okay, cool. This is looking pretty rad. I like this so far. Okay, so we're done with our environment. Let's go back into our luminous material. Global illumination has been turned on. Our directional light has been turned off. So now we can start monkeying around with the luminous material settings and explore what they do. So I'm back in my Material Trans tab, Material Trans, okay? And we want to turn up the luminous intensity. The default value is 0, so off. So if we put this to like 3.0, check it out. Look at that. Now my spout is serving as a light source in my scene, okay? Now, there's usually a couple other things that I like to do in this process. If you go to Material Reference, I like to turn off the diffuse amount, and I also like to turn off the specular amount just to ensure that it's not creating any sort of weird, funky highlights in the final render. Let's go back to my Material Trans tab and check it out. We can also change the color down here. So maybe I want this to be like red or something. Yeah, check it out. Now that spout is acting as though it's a red light in my scene. So luminous material gives us a lot of options. Of course, now we can make certain parts of our models glow and act as light sources, or we can take this one step further and use custom shaped polygons to create custom shaped lights, because ultimately what we're doing here is we're making polygons into lights. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have another scene kind of preloaded here. Let me get rid of all this. There we go. And let's jump over into this other scene that has just a very, very simple vase, excuse me. If I jump out here for a second and look, if you look down here at the bottom, here's my vase. Here's my camera. What I want to do is that I want to create a polygon that's going to serve as a light for the scene. Now, in order to create a polygon, I'm just going to make this very simple square just for illustration purposes, okay? And I'll select it, hit the F key to flip it around, okay? We're done with you. There we go. And we're going to move this guy just a teeny tiny bit closer and rotate him in towards the vase, okay? Now remember, all of this works off of a material. So I'm going to select my new polygon, which is ultimately going to serve as a light, and we'll call this one a lumagon. There we go. And we know that we want the diffuse value to be 0, specular as well. So we'll hit OK. All right. Let's make things bigger a little and explore what in the world this lumagons is doing. So here we go. Here's lumagons. Same location as before, right? We're going into Material Ref. We're going to find that luminosity setting, which is kind of towards the bottom on Material Trans. Excuse me, I said Material Ref a moment ago. I meant Material Trans. There we go. So here's the luminosity. Let's turn this up to like 3. And then bam, check it out. Now you can start to see that this one polygon is lighting our scene. Now we like this. We like lumigons. I love, 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 love working with lumigons because it gives me a lot of control over the light. Okay. In addition to controlling both the size and the shape of the light, I also get a lot of control over the reflections on the object in which I'm casting the light onto. With area lights, you're not going to get this indication, the reflection of the light source. We're still getting nice, very soft illumination. Look at the shadow that's being cast on the ground. It's a beautiful light source, and we're also getting those wonderful long specular highlights, or in our case, this is actually a true reflection of the light source, unlike the specular highlight, which is kind of a trick, almost a camera trick to fake the reflection. So this is looking really great. We can have as many of these lumigons as we want in the scene. We can change their color. We can change their intensity. They act as like any other light in our scene, but we just get a tremendous amount of control when we use lumigons. I love using lumigons, and this is a nice practical application of luminous materials in the 3D art production pipeline.